So, good morning, everyone. Good morning. Good morning. Thank you so much for coming today to a very special event and a special speaker that I'm going to introduce in a minute. So my name is Loredana. I'm part of the PwCR leadership team. So if you see event ads and newsletters, those are coming usually from me, but with input from all our members, which is really something that I'm super grateful for. And I'm here today with other LT members, with Phyllis, with Romy, we have Nikki, obviously Maria Elena, who's also our speaker today. Did I miss anybody from the room? Yeah, so it's the 5 of us or so, if I counted correctly. So today I just wanted, before we start the meeting, we are also recording it. So, and also streaming it via Zoom. So just keep this in mind for the next time. But before we start officially the meeting, does everybody have had a chance? Did everybody have a chance to look at the menu? And if you decided to stay to fill in the lunch order sheet? If you didn't, please raise your hand so we can give you the menu from the restaurant. Yeah, you, Jordani. Okay.
That's out right now.
Yeah, please pass it person. And yes, thank you, Maria Elena. The raffle tickets, everybody got one? Okay.
You get a raffle ticket.
Good, because we have some very special prizes courtesy of Phyllis actually today. So with this, let me go back to our main event and to our speaker. And we wanted to have a topic which I know is of interest for a lot of us, because many of us had an opportunity or still have the opportunity to speak publicly. Whereas it's not maybe our favorite thing to do, and a lot of us, I think, including myself, get cold feet before doing that. But I think really mastering the art of public speaking is, I would say, it's something which is basic skill in today's world, because we are always interacting, always sharing something, always trying to present information in a very relevant way. And it doesn't matter in which language you speak. If, for example, English or Spanish is not native to you, which none of them actually are to me, you at least need to know very well your topic. So the subject you are presenting, you have to be the expert in that. And with this presentation, Maria Elena is going to actually share with us today some of the most important points that you have to keep in mind when you prepare a presentation, when you are preparing for a public speaking event. More like the essentials for public speaking techniques, how to convey, very importantly, how to convey complex information in a simple and powerful way, impactful way. Not everybody can do that. So this is really an art, and Maria Elena, thank you for sharing this with us. Also, how to engage your audience, irrespective of language, irrespective of the subject, how do you engage the audience? Because it's not just the subject, the topic you're presenting, but it's also the presenter that has to know that. And then practical tips for presenting your business effectively and becoming more confident when you communicate. So these will be some of the key points of today's session. And let me also introduce our speaker for today, Maria Elena. I'm going to say a few words, and Maria Elena, please feel free to add. She's a university scientist and an educator. She's editor also and writer and counselor to students writing and defending their graduating theses and dissertations. So she has a lot of experience with public speaking and definitely distilling complex topics into simple, very efficient language. And thanks to her early research on tropical freshwater clams endemic to Costa Rica in the early 1980s, so feel free to ask her more about that experience. She was an academic as well as an impromptu guest speaker at Tulane University, New Orleans, William and Mary University in Virginia, Warsaw University in Poland, Moscow State University in Russia, and even in Japan. So with this, I would like to welcome Maria Elena. Thank her so much for actually leading the session today.
Good morning again, and thank you for the toast. Public speaking really is an art. And like any other art, you sometimes are born with that. But sometimes you don't, and you have to learn it, and you can learn it. We have known of people that go to several schools to learn how to write or to paint. Last month, we had Maria teaching some techniques that she uses to paint. We have had other people teaching us other wonderful things in this community. So the fact that you are talking to someone right away makes you a public speaker. You may not know that, but that makes you a public speaker. Especially when you are talking about your business. I would like you to remember that even if not a TED Talk, like all of these famous things, you have to have certain qualities in your delivering of your talk, delivering of your goods. It's very important to make a good impression. So with that in mind, you have to keep that idea of how to influence the audience, how to engage them in whatever you are selling, how to properly address that audience. The audience can be one person or many persons, and you have to make sure that you do it in a proper way. So, your business here in Costa Rica, for most of you who speak a different language, can be challenging. But most of the time, you have to forget that you are a foreigner, wherever you are. You have to think about your business, and you have to feel that you have that confidence to explain your thing. At this point, I defended my dissertation some 40 years ago, I guess, or something like that, 35 years ago. If you ask me something about the research I did today, I can tell you many things without even looking at my notes, because I did it, because I knew what I was talking about when I did it and what I can talk about today. When I think about good public speakers, I think of the Reverend Tony Ricard, who's a native New Orleanian, who is the chaplain, one of the chaplains for the New Orleans Saints football team. He's a young 40, at this point, 45 maybe, preacher. He has that knowledge of not only the Bible, as it should be because he's a priest, but about the entire phenomenology about the game and the team and the personality of each one of the players. He had been able to turn a small community of mature churchgoers into a big, successful, younger generation of attendance to his masses. Why? Because his delivery of his homilies or sermons are so engaging that people feel confident. He's talking about God. He's not talking about football. And yet, he's successful. There are many examples like that we know of, and we want you to have the same thing. So, when you're public speaking, you win trust within your community. You have to know how to present your products. You have to be able to bridge that language gap. Don't apologize when you mispronounce a word in Spanish or in English or in French. People understand that you are not talking in your native language. And therefore, you don't have to apologize. The most you can say is, excuse me, how do you properly pronounce that? How do you say that? And keep moving. People understand that. Don't say, oh, my English is so bad, or my Spanish is not so good. No, that doesn't go into your speech. That will boost confidence, not only for you, but for your audience, right? You keep them engaged, and that's what we want. One of the things that I have noticed in my students and my colleagues sometimes is that they walk like this, and then they come and say, good morning, good afternoon. What is that? Be proud of yourself. Be open. Smile. Be clear. Posture. Dress. You don't have to go fancy dress like you're going to a ball, a New Orleans Mardi Gras ball. No, you go clean and just, plain. You can go as plain as you want, but present yourself in a very acceptable, professional way. You don't have to wear a suit for that. Like, men used to wear the tie and the coat, and they really, now you see most of the guys giving TED Talks, well, with jeans, tennis shoes, including me today, because it's comfortable. A nice clean t-shirt is comfortable, but clean, presentable. Don't go shabby or like this, no. So after you have that control of yourself first, then you can control your audience. Control your voice. Don't rush into things. Control your voice, because if you go talking at a speed that nobody understands anything, what's the point, right? So be clear, pause for emphasis, like I have done in the past few minutes. Pause for emphasis. Remember that is your business you're talking about. It is the way that you are going to earn the trust and the money that you need, that you are after, right? Make eye contact with the public. I have a student, I still have him under my wing, because he is very nervous about talking to his teachers. He's going to defend his dissertation. For God's sake, and he won't look at anyone. He won't look at his professor. He won't look. And I said, what is that? You need to project that confidence. You know what you're talking about. After all, it's his research, not the teacher's research. So he should know exactly what he's talking about. And say, with your pose, with your brain, with your vocabulary, say, with your eyes. Look straight in the eyes of the other people, no matter how many people there are in the audience. You have to have an opening to the conversation, then present your key points, and then have a nice close. And with that, I guarantee you that you can have good communication to start off. I have a friend, a former classmate, who at the age of 30-something found herself divorced, 3 kids, no money, 1 old car. At that point, and probably not too much food in the pantry, right? At that point, she decided to do the only thing that she could do. Use Avon products to sell. She applied for a job, and she got it. Over 25 years, she had won several national and international prizes or awards from that company, because she knew exactly what she was doing. She was not an expert in marketing.
No, pensé que era la esposa de Luis.
Management.
Pero no es una
She
mujer
was
muy
not an
joven.
expert in pharmacy, but she knew
Hay
everything about
reunión del
Sí,
grupo de
no.
mujeres que
Sí, no.
voy a estar escuchando.
how to people and convince people about the product. She made it.
Pero
many
Pero
of
sí,
the
sí,
children
tengo
are
audífonos, pues.
professionals today.
Pero
That's success.
habla inglés con mucho
So,
acento, sí.
practice your
Sin
element.
ver las filminas va a costar un poquito.
Please introduce yourself to the next person seated next to you and focus on what you're going to say in a clear voice with confidence. You have 2 minutes to do that. Please do it now. 2 minutes.
Mm.
Okay, stop right there, please. Attention, please. I wanted you to practice without this. You should, instead of just shooting and just talk to the next person and make a big deal out of nothing, you should practice the rule of 3. Only talk about 3 key points of your business. Only 3, you don't need more. Why? Because the more you talk, the more you lose the attention of the other person. 3 key points, okay? Don't use language that is very common. Use professional language. And this is where your knowledge of language comes in. Use adjectives in a proper way. Use nouns in a proper way. Use the language as if you were writing. Am I clear on that?
Yes.
As if you were writing for someone who is going to check your composition, whatever it is, right? Because when we start talking about Mahe, this and that, like they talk here, right away, you lower the quality of your business or your speech. That's, something that we don't need. You need to look always professional. If you have the chance, like Gary Brown, remember the great talk she gave us? Because she brings all of those teas and all of those herbs that she farms, that she sells. And we all went out feeling like, wow, right? She really knows her stuff, but not only that, her stuff is good for me, which is what you want us to think. Her stuff works for me, right? So you have to do that in order to project your business in a positive way. So you can use examples, you can use props. Yeah. Yeah. Hola. But exhibit A, right? That's right. But we all agree. I'm sorry that, I can only use one example. There are many good speakers in our group too. She's not the only one, but she was exceptional, right?
Yeah.
So that's why we mentioned her. So you can do that, okay? Another thing, like I said, speak slowly. enunciate your words. I love the way Loredana talks. She has a heavy accent, the heaviest of this group. Maybe mine is heavy in English, but hers is heavy. But she makes herself understood. She speaks clearly. She doesn't rush. Right. You know, and we notice the heavy accent, but so what? English is not her first language. Like I said, no apologies for that. So use stories like I have been doing, and Gary did too, and I suppose Ana Maria did. I wasn't at her talk, but you can use stories to convey your. Laura, for example, she has a small starting business. We might ask her later how to what's the business, but if she starts saying well, very soon we say, okay, bye, okay? But if she said, all I want to do with my business is so and so and so. So we really pay attention, right? So we have to do this kind of memorable talk every time we open our mouth to sell our book, because the reality is that as business people, we really all, and here we are all sales people. We're selling something, ideas, products, services. There is someone in the group that's is in services, right? That helps other people to do grocery shopping or take that person to a hospital or whatever. That's selling services. And that is something that she has to state clearly, right? And define what she really means by I sell services. When you're talking, ask your audience questions. Like, let's see, Gail, when was the last time that you had to explain clearly what is your business?
Yesterday.
Yes,
This morning.
okay, this morning. Can you tell us in 2 phrases what is your business? We know what your business is, but other people may not.
Business is to provide practical ways for people to have hope for a better life.
Isn't that great? Isn't that great? I mean, we clearly understand what her business is, right? And Gail doesn't seem to have any challenges with any language. She probably lived here for so many years, she doesn't have that problem. But if she had, we understood well what she wants to do with the business, right? So no problem. Now, go back to pair up with the same person or other person and try to explain again what your business is in 30 seconds and ask for a feedback. That's the most important thing from your audience. Okay? Attention, please. Hello, ladies. Can I have your attention, please? Okay. End of the conversation for a second, please. I'm going to ask Vicky here to please tell us your experience with Arcelia. Can you please?
Yes, Arcelia said that she's an elementary teacher in New York. Yes. And she's very engaged with the environmental issues. In the weekends, she said that she goes to the beach and she cleans the, she helps clean the beaches.
Okay. Did you feel engaged in the conversation? Did you ask her anything during the process that you exchanged information?
Sure, yeah. Yes, I did. I asked her if she took her students with her during the weekends to clean the beach. She said no, she goes by herself, but she goes back to the classroom and shares the experience with her students.
Wonderful. Arcelia, did you feel that Vicky was inside your conversation, was really engaged?
Yeah, I think also when we started to speak and she mentioned about the environment, it sparked an interest because that's something that's near and dear to my heart. So I think automatically when you speak on topics that have like this general connection, that obviously grabs the attention of the audience.
Not only that, you have an interest in it, but you have become unknowingly maybe a quote unquote expert. Because you are engaged into that and then you begin to read more about it. Am I right?
Yes.
So here we have someone who probably did not go to university to study environmental sciences, who is doing an environmental work that is of her interest and her students' interest and ultimately the entire community, right? The entire world. That's very good. This is possible. The most difficult part to engage people into your business. I keep going back to, because this is my background, to the education aspect. You're defending a dissertation of something that nobody, maybe a few people know about or are even interested in, right? And then you want them to be a participant and to get interest from the audience. So your problem is double. You have to bridge that gap. You have to make them want to know what the business or the talk is about. And then make them feel when they leave the place, I learned at least one thing today from that talk. That's what those people that give TED Talks do, right? They talk about it, this and that, and blah, they go with graphics in it. And then people in the audience feel, oh my God, I'm learning something new. Oh my God, that's the way I would like to present my business. That is your need too. This is exactly what you need to do. Engage the audience into that. How do you present your business effectively? To begin with, you talk about your original idea. My original idea with what I do was to make sure that my students when I was teaching. I am no longer teaching, but I do other things now. When I was teaching, my idea was that when my students go out in the world, they can do whatever they learn to do from me in a proper manner. And that includes writing and talking real well. So at this point, I make sure that if I am reviewing a thesis, for example, that student, the owner of that project, the owner of those ideas, the owner of that research can explain original background and why he or she became interested in that, why he or she started doing that is important. Why? Because that's the motor of the work. If you're not interested in something, you may as well just sit down in the park and read something else, or just look at people walk by. But if you're interested in something real, for whatever the thing is, like my friend Nidia, the need was to feed her family, so she went into it. Maybe if she had paid attention to her parents when we graduated from high school, and instead of getting married, we went to the university, maybe she had not even become a good professional because she was not interested. And she said, honestly and clearly, I have no interest. I want to get married.
Viste que no está tan caliente aquí.
No, por
Well,
eso es que
sí.
mucha brisa.
But then she
Sí, hay
learned,
mucha brisa.
she
Me
had
siento mejor.
interest,
Sí, pero
and that was
creo que voy a hacer por lo menos una más, tal vez dos.
getting her family meant going door to door to sell a product. That's what she did it, and she did it successfully. The Reverend Ricard, his main business is to keep the flock inside the church, one way or another, right? That's what they want. He did. If it requires to talk about the gains and aims of the saints, as we all say in New Orleans, he needed to know about that. He needed to talk about that to the younger generation, and the older generation got a kick out of it too. And so he kept the flock, and they kept growing and growing. That's what you need to do. Your business is to go to the beach on weekends to clean up the beach. Great. But you can do it all by yourself. You need to engage other people in the community. How do you do that? You talk to other people, you convince them to do it. And conviction is what you have to have in your own business. If you're convinced you're going to do well, you will do well. So you use a lot of other props, brochures. I don't know, many people use even presentations like this, but when you're talking about a product that you are going to sell, say Laura, who has a starting business in bakery, she cannot have a slide presentation. What would she have?
Yes, I would have a selling pitch about my products.
And
Oh, okay, like a real life. Yeah, so have samples of my products, cakes, breads and everything.
She would give out some of her products for free. There's nothing wrong with that. She is going to gain. She's going to gain customers, right? And therefore, she has to use all of that in order to be successful. She can also share stories with somebody about how she started. She can also say, in fact, come here and tell us why you started that business.
Okay. That's nice.
The plain truth, as I know it.
Okay, I used to work at a corporation. I used to work at MasterCard. I'm a statistician, but I realized this wasn't my passion. My passion has always been baking and cooking. And I actually learned to read with cooking books. So I was meant for this. And then I found myself after a very tough year, 3 surgeries, and I realized I wasn't doing what I was supposed to be doing and what makes me really happy. And it was being in the kitchen, baking and covered with flour and sugar. And that's how I'm sorry, I thought it was my story. Okay, back to the 30 seconds. So I created this micro bakery that I'm starting now. And the idea of panore, which is the union of pan and doré in French, which is gold. And the idea is to go back to the luxury of eating something that is really tasty, that is really nice, and having a moment for yourself that you will appreciate and make your day better. So.
Yeah. Thank you. That was amazing. Okay. We all have that kind of product. Like I said, somebody, I can't remember the name of her, but somebody said that she sells services, personal services. I can't remember her name. And when I asked her, she started by telling me why she did it and why she preferred to do that thing. It's her story, I'm not going to say it. But anyway, one thing she didn't do was telling me what she doesn't do. So I asked her, she does personal services, but she didn't tell me what she doesn't do. So I asked her, what is what you don't do? So she looked at me like, didn't I say what I do? And then I said, you said what you do, but in a very general manner. So I don't know, I want to know, do you give a bath to someone who is bound to a bed? Do you change diapers? And she said, right, or do you clean their house? And she said, no. And I said, that's personal service. And she said, no. What I do is to do shopping, take them to the doctor, answer phone calls. And I said, why didn't you start with that? Those 3 key points, start with that. That's what I do. Personal services. That's what you do. Baking. Baking for this, that, or that purpose. What you do is clean the environment for this, or that. That's it. You don't need to go into complicated things. Stop. So to wrap it up, do's and don'ts. Always smile. Always, for God's sake, always be prepared. And this is something that I can never get tired of telling my students. Be prepared. Be prepared for the answer, to answer for that question that nobody will ask. I've had that experience. I was defending my dissertation, and all of a sudden, someone who had never been in any of my classes, someone I never knew, asked me the most silly question. What did I do? I paused for a minute, and then I said, that's an interesting question. I had never thought that I would have to ask this at this presentation, but let me think about it for a minute, and let me continue with this, and I promise I will go back to you. Because at that point, I didn't know what to say, right? So I kept on going, and inside, how your brain can think up to 13 or 14 thoughts at the time. We don't know that, but it is true. So kept thinking, and finally the light came up, and then I stopped what I was saying, and I said, I'm going back to Miss So-and-so question. The answer to that, I believe, that doesn't make it 100% sure, but I believe it's so and so. And she said, oh, thank you very much. And then I continued on. That's what you have to do. Be prepared. Prepare 100%. Adapt your vocabulary. You cannot talk about science and scientific concepts in a elevated way, pretentious way, if you know your audience will not catch any of those words. What for? I don't know if you know of this famous, at least in the United States, television guy, sometimes he comes on TV. Dr. Lagras, the Guy Lagras or Tyson. He's a scientist. He is a Chicago native. She knows science. He's an astrophysicist. And yet he talks and writes to audiences from children to other scientists, and everybody understands him. He adapts the language, the vocabulary. He's not going to talk about the stars and the moon, naming them. Little children will say star and the moon. Venus or Jupiter or nothing. He's say stars and the moon and the planets. He writes books, and some of you, because he is really good at that. And then something that I said before, do not apologize for knowledge or unknowledge of your language, but know the vocabulary. Another thing that I want you to please keep in mind, do not use, especially when you are first talking. That's why it's important you practice at home in front of your mirror, or maybe your significant other, or even the cat, you know? Yeah, you talk and use different words and feel proud of what you're saying. And then don't rush into it, but practice. Do not use muletillas or phrases that you rely on, like. It really makes me sick. Like, oh, I mean, or something that I heard, here is mahe, and you know, mahe, and you. What is that? Respect your audience, always respect them. They deserve the same respect that you are asking for yourself. Don't mistreat people by using foul language or like, and then those muletillas, and then go like this and go away and come back, and what is that? Do you know what you're talking about or not?
Yeah.
Do you like your adjectives? Need to be using your synonyms, like what synonyms are. If you don't, go back to your dictionary and find that your telephone will tell you. You need, today is even easier than ever. You have one word and then you want to know 3 synonyms. You type it on your telephone, you find them right away, no problem. But use them, please. And like I said, don't use muletillas. In Spanish, I love the word muletillas because muletas are the walking things, right? And it's like, really are heavy on those and rely on those more than on yourself. So you know how to do that. Don't overdo details. Don't ignore your audience reactions. I can see that you here are paying attention to me. One way or another, I engage you. Build confidence. If you're prepared, you no longer have that fear, right? So that's the first rule. Very small wins build that confidence. That's why I'm saying practice. Even if it's a small audience, you practice, then you're confident. Your nerves. People say that stage freer. It's very common and it's probably true. But I have been acting since I was 6, so I don't care. I am not afraid. Laura has been acting since she was 3. I still remember, she's my niece, by the way. So I still remember her coming with her high heel shoes. And she even had a stage name, a professional stage name. She has no fear of talking in public and never had it because her father and mother never trained her of doing so. That's important. So, like I said at the beginning, acting is a big part of public speaking. You have to be in control. You don't see, I don't remember. I am maybe, this is how I show my age. I don't know many of the names of the new actors and actresses on television or movies. But I remember clearly Richard Burton, or in the old movies, or Elizabeth Taylor. Elizabeth Taylor was famous, beautiful to talk. I hear him talking, I didn't talk to her ever. But she delivered her acting with precise vocabulary, with precise. Now, she was a stage actress before becoming a Hollywood actress. She knew how to talk. In some of the papers that she portrayed, she was better than in others, but she knew how to talk. And those things, stay with you. So you have to build that confidence in order to stay in the brain of all of these audiences. And be brave. Believe in yourself. Believe you can do it. I can do it. I know how to do it. I know my topic. I know my business. Therefore, I am going to succeed. Before you go audience, like I said, you cannot talk about any complex matter or any simple matter if your audience is not going to be understanding you. So you better find out before you go who's going to be in the audience. Always prepare at least 3 key points of your speech. If you can, have visuals ready, pamphlets, pictures, samples of baking goods, shells or garbage that you collected from the beach, right? Rehearse the opening and closing, and also adopt the confident mindset. I can do it, and you can do it, right? Remember that your voice is your business most important tool. That's why it's important to be sure that you moderate your voice. You cannot go into any place and yell, because then you close your brain. I close my brain right away when I hear somebody say, oh, if I'm going to talk like this, boring, she's going to put me to sleep, right? No, you can't do that. Clarity, confidence, and then last but not least, I want you to this week apply what you learned. Laura, go to your mother's house and tell her everything that you do know about your business. Arcelia, go to a group of kindergartners and tell them what you do. That way. Right? I'm sorry. What is your business? I can't.
Essential oils.
Huh?
Essential oils,
Essential oils, that's right. And she's a good, she has good products. And so you go and tell somebody why you think those things are good. You have to be convincing when you talk. You have to let the audience know that she knows what she's talking about. My My essential oils are the best essential oils. She knows that, right? So that's what we want. With this, I'm closing. And we have a handout that we will send over the media, right? The one way or another, we let you have the handout. And thank you for your attention. And I hope that you truly walk out of here with that desire of, I'm going to succeed, I'm going to make this. Remember, no matter who you're talking to, you're public speaking. Yes.
I would only like to add something, and it's really common with women, and is that we often diminish our business. Let's say, for example, I don't do cakes, like I don't bake cakes. I bake kekitos, or yes, I do like some cupcakes. We often diminish what we're doing, and it comes really back to what my uncle was saying, like, I bake the best cakes in the world. Maybe I don't. Well, for sure I don't. But I don't want to downgrade what I'm doing, and that's really often among women. We try to be
Con
more
uno más hacer los 30 minutos.
relatable. We often just
Yo tengo 36 minutos nada
what
más.
our business is about.
Puede ser
I think
una más y llego a los 2 kilómetros.
you were talking about.
Tengo 1.84.
Thank you. Anybody else wants to say something?
Y ya definitivamente
Yes.
la última, digo yo.
I use a whiteboard, is that allowed? A whiteboard in my presentation.
Sure,
Okay,
sure.
because it's little, it's alive. As I'm talking, I'm drawing. And then that draws the eyes towards the thing that I'm drawing. Okay, thank you.
In fact, you are probably very successful within the community that you serve, and I know the work you do because of that. You are very visual about it, and everybody pays attention to what you're saying. We have been in her house and we know what she does.
Yeah.
And so, yes, it's a great idea.
Because I can't use a computer, I can't, I'm not technical.
Well, that's the reality. So some people can, some people cannot. And another thing, there are places where we cannot use the technology for whatever reason. So, there you go. You use pen and paper, you use a whiteboard, you use whatever. Any more questions?
Wonderful.
Anyone wants to share an experience like Laura did? And Arcelia did. Anyone else? Maria, do you have that? You have one, yes. Yeah.
It's great, thank you. I think authenticity comes a long way. I used to have a role where I had to prepare a speech, it was prepared for me. And my public speaking wasn't that good. But when I talk about something from where I come from with my words, it totally changes the delivery, so.
Yeah. We have a new possible member, Angelica, she has a new business.
Well,
Venís muy rápido vos.
business
Venís
now.
muy rápido vos. No yo, voy yo despacio. Yo no sé.
Well, Laura told me that I can talk about my current work. Well, my story is that I worked for UNHCR with refugee people, and I got burned out there because it's so sad to hear all the time stories, that kind of stories. So I decided to move forward and try other things, and I get certifications in yoga, yeah, and I am currently working with Kurtz, that is a gym that works for women, and I like a lot because we work with them in a very integral way. So, we we see the part of the nutritional area, I don't know, the exercises. Yeah, yeah, I like a lot, but I know that I have to, I'm so sorry, can I speak in Spanish? Gracias, gracias. La verdad, chicas, es que no estoy trabajando aún, estoy en entrenamiento. Entonces, realmente me cuesta muchísimo hablar sobre esto ahorita porque ni siquiera me están pagando aún, ¿verdad? Es un entrenamiento. Entonces, sí, se me dificulta como hablarlo como un negocio y creer en sí, en esto como un negocio, porque es algo que realmente no estoy haciendo ahorita. Pero si me preguntan qué me gusta hacer, me encanta hacer todo lo que tenga que ver con planes integrales para mí. O sea, yo misma me construyo mis planes para mantenerme en equilibrio. Es algo que me encanta y lo hago para personas que quiero. Entonces, lunes, martes, miércoles, yo me agendo cosas para nutrición, para mantenerme espiritualmente equilibrada, para cuestiones físicas. Es algo que me gusta mucho y me gustaría eventualmente convertirlo en un negocio, involucrando la parte de yoga. Y también soy trabajadora social, entonces espero poder hacerlo. Creo que este espacio me gusta mucho y perdón que esté robando tanto tiempo, pero es muy complejo para mí ahorita hablar de todo esto. Entonces, creo que este espacio me gusta mucho porque las mujeres siempre me inspiran mucho. Me gusta muchísimo trabajar con chicas y siento que ustedes, desde luego, me van a ayudar mucho, ¿verdad? Como a esa parte y lo están haciendo desde ya, solo con escucharles. Muchas gracias.
Well, for those of you who did not get the full story, she's a social worker, at present working with immigrants and people under difficult conditions. She doesn't like to do that. But she's passionate about yoga. She is training at the Curves gym, where people work in an integrated way, body and mind, and that's what she loves to do. And she's thinking about doing that precisely. And in a positive, constructive way, she always and obviously needs training into how to publicly speak. She needs that a lot. And that is because she doesn't have confidence in her business. Perhaps if she were in social work, something that she was trying in, would be more confident. But this yoga business is something new for her, so she's not totally confident. Let's hope that very soon she will get there. And then, like she said, she is happy to be within this group because women have always inspired her. And yes, we women inspire each other. We need to be background, the side ground, the upper ground of every other woman. We need to support ourselves. Something that Laura also say is very good. In Costa Rica, at least, I don't know much of that in American women, but in Costa Rica, people tend to lower themselves in order to appear.
¿Cómo te sentiste?
Bien,
sí.
Sí,
Uno comienza enclenque, pero
va
va fortaleciéndose, ¿verdad?
in the US too. In the South.
Dos veces.
Oh, I live in the South for years and I never met any African American woman diminishing herself, so I don't know. Right? I don't really know. And that's something I caught right away from the community. That African American pride. You know, I am Black and what? I am fat and what? I am this and what? They go and talk. They have confidence. Something that many other people, and especially the Latin community, the Mexicans, I love the Mexican communities because they are too down. I have to tell them, please stay up, bring yourself up, do this for yourself and for your children, right? They tend to diminish themselves. that probably Holmes is a long story with the conquistadores. So in machismo and all of that, don't fall into that trap. Thank you very much, ladies.
Thank you so much, Maria Elena. This has been an exceptional session, and honestly, I wish I had this or someone like you mentoring me many years ago when I started presenting. It's been a tough because I switched from scientific presentation now to more like coaching or other type, which makes them very, very different
Yes.
content. So, but I wish I had the confidence that you projected today and the clarity. And obviously, one of the things I have to tell you ladies, after having spoken so many times, one of the things that I struggled in, took me 30 years to overcome was the speed at which I speak. Because right now I speak at 60% of my normal speed. So in my native language, I speak very how well I speak it or not, I speak very fast.
Right, that's.
So now I have to be very present and control and be aware and listen to myself, which helps me then reduce a bit the speed of speech. So just that, you know, so if I was able to work on something like that of the 30 years, you can do it as well. Anything like that is possible.
Right.
Any other questions or comments regarding the topic or for Maria Elena?
Ya estuvo terminando.
Okay, if not, thank you once again, Maria Elena. Thank you so much for taking the time today.
Thank you.
So there are a couple of more things to actually, including administrative, that I want to share with you. And we have a very important activity, which is the raffle. So please stay, because as I mentioned in the event ad and in the chat, you have an opportunity to win something really, really nice. But before we go there, one of the customs at these meetings is also to invite new participants or new members to briefly introduce themselves. So you'll have the chance to practice what Maria Elena just actually shared with us today. So, okay, so please, who would like to?
Llegó bastante gente hoy, ¿ah? Y llegan tarde, llegan puro
Okay.
sol, ¿verdad?
So we already had the two nice ladies there introduce themselves. I'm going to start here, then go to you, and then to you, Julie. Please, please.
Hello, everyone.
BYD, Suba,
Here because Loriana
la velocidad
group
del aire acondicionado.
sent me the invitation and I found it very interesting. So I also
Hi,
want to
BYD.
ask my daughter to be here with me. And
Hi, BYD.
organized drawing and watercolor
Gente.
workshop for
El aire
young
acondicionado.
adults and not so young adults. And drawing and watercolor workshop. Yep. And I think I'm having trouble to convey the concept to my participants that these workshops are not only for them to learn about the techniques, but also to have a good time, which is one of the most important things I would like to offer to them.
Let me tell you one thing I learned over the years. Drawing is something that we also learn, like acting, right? But if you are preoccupied with how good it's going to look, it's not fun. So
Todavía se
you
conoce.
have your students.
I do that.
Don't worry about it and praise everybody who said, this is a baseball cap. And you don't see it in them. And I said, well, that's your concept. That's okay. That's very good. That automatically.
Yes, I always start my introduction with something like, don't worry, this is not a place to worry. If you end up with a powerful work of art, it's okay.
Can I ask you, we have a question from Gail. Where are you organizing the workshops?
Oh, okay, yeah. No, I organize them. I am not the artist. Yes.
Okay, but where?
This in a place called Josefino, Casa Josefino, which is near the National Park.
Okay.
And the next one is going to be, can I make the announcement?
Yeah.
Okay, on September the 27th. Uh-huh. And the artists that help me is, well, the watercolorist is one of the best here in Costa Rica, and it's Jaime. And the artist in drawing is my son, which has a national prize in drawing.
Okay, thank you.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you, Gloriana, for inviting. I loved it, and I wish I can come back with my mom. Well, I work at an office. I manager at a fiduciary services and escrow company. And trusts accounts, that's what I
Estar allá a las 12, ¿no?
treasury services.
12:30. Entras a las 12, llegas a las 12.
La cliente es una cliente muy necia.
¿A teléfono cliente?
For banks for many
Viene de la
years.
abuela.
Entonces no vas a almorzar antes, almorzas a las 12.
Manager at one of the
Así es,
biggest,
por
the biggest very recognized private school here in Costa Rica for 15 years.
Es que
Now
cliente
I've
más
been working here
difícil.
in the
La
escrow
madre de
business
personas.
for 4 years.
Ustedes no sirven para nada. Algo así.
And
Sí,
now
porque sigue llegando entonces.
that I used to do about
Para nada.
Quiere que le ores, básicamente.
is actually like a hobby, but I now want to
Guerrera que tiene, no,
think about my future as
se lo voy a decir.
I do jewelry, but not this type of jewelry.
Confrontamiento para todos.
Beads and necklaces like my mom's. And when I retire in about 10 years or so, I want to have my
Ella
business
es una persona que ve el
consolidated.
vaso medio vacío.
Although the numbers are all around me, right? Math.
Que ha tenido ella.
I'm actually an artist inside because my family is
Padres acomodados.
and we're
Clase media,
artists.
carro.
And I know I want to do that in the future when I finish my
Hermanas que la apoyen, aunque no muestra mucho. Ella se queja de eso.
Sí.
Por favor, llegada.
Lenny, is anybody here that wants to stay for lunch but hasn't seen the menu and feel
Sí,
the
ella
urge?
no ha mencionado eso. Ella no ha mencionado.
Because we have to hand it over to the restaurant.
Él sí cambiaba, sí gustaba de trabajo.
Okay, everybody, okay, good.
Para
Lenny, over to you.
para renunciar a este.
Why don't
Y
you
yo
come?
dije, bueno, ojalá que no renuncie al
No, don't be afraid.
Vamos doble.
Good morning.
Le da miedo
Here.
lugar privado porque ahí sí la pueden echar.
Jaco, in
Aquí,
Jaco. So I come all the way.
falta confianza en mantenerse en un sitio.
Bye, bye, Gloria.
Haga bien y que no le reta bien, que no la recompensa bien. Solo
What
para
I
irse.
do, well, basically, I've been doing graphic design. I taught myself how to do graphic design. I am an English major. I graduated from the
Pero la
university
posibilidad que la eche.
many years ago. So I'm a translator too.
Silencio, por más sacrificio,
Porque
What else?
se va a
por falta de plata,
I'm
sí,
a writer.
porque se baja el negocio.
I'm a writer. Last year, I published my first book.
Pero medicina privada, yo diría estar en un boom.
And now I write, like I do copywriting for my clients, but I also I'm doing like writing now at Substack, and I publish my
La
poetry,
caja tiene tanta crisis
essays,
que está optando por lo menos por
I don't know, I do a lot of things.
privada, ¿no es cierto?
I am an artist, I think, so I love the music side and the writing side. I love writing poetry. I feel very inspired by, my own experiences and everything I see around me, and that's what I do. Anything I forgot?
Alguien me hizo una carta
Thank you, Darlene. You need to practice your posture.
personal de la clínica de
Or confident about yourself because you know what you like to do, right? And if you get to talk as well as you write, you will be the winner. We have one more person. Thank you so much, Phyllis. I believe that, Monica?
Monica, you want to come? We all want to see you.
Me cayó el Pablo y se cerró la.
Ah, sí.
Hi, everyone.
Hello.
I'm Monica. I was born in Argentina, proudly Armenian, based in Costa Rica. I'm a linguist, and I help professionals overcome, or let's say manage, anxiety and fear when communicating in English or Spanish. And how do I do that? Through neuro-linguistic programming techniques and coaching.
Really nice. Thank you.
Thank you, I'm so happy to be here.
Well, we hope that you all become regular members. We would be very, very happy to have the new blood into our system, right? Yes.
That would be amazing, and I think there will be more about this, because we would love to have not only more members joining us. Remember that we also have the premium membership, which gives you access for free to all the meetings during the year, but also people that would like to work more with LT members. Because there are a lot of exciting activities that the team is organizing and working on. I would love more ideas, more support, and more contribution and input to what PWS here is doing. With that, and before the door prize, I'm postponing it, I'm sorry for this. I also wanted to make sure that you book your calendar for the next, probably 2 meetings at least. On September 20th, we do have a very special session. It's going to be on a Saturday again with Innate, if I'm pronouncing your name correctly, about financial freedom by design. And why don't I actually ask you to say a few words about the session we are going to have?
Thank you. I do hope that you'll all join me next week at the organization, because I think what's very important to all of us is to learn how to make our money work for us. And I have a few skills in that area, I think, because I was able to retire at 52. And I am now 78. My investments have been working for me. And I'd like to share with you how to make investments work for you.
Thank you.
So I hope you are going to join us in September. Then in October, right on Saturday, so October 18th, we have a remarkable workshop named I Am Remarkable, that will be also organized by Andrea Nicola. And then in November, we will have the goods and services fair. It's going to be on a Sunday this time, November 23rd in Ciudad Colón. So all this will also be sent to you in the monthly newsletter, but please stay in touch with us and make sure that if you want to become a member, if you are not one already, you talk to Romy and Phyllis and you ask for more details how you can become a member of PWS here. With this, I'm going to hand over to, are we ready for the raffle or do we wait for Romy to come back?
No, I have those tickets, so.
Fantastic. So over to you, Phyllis, and then Nikki will actually be the next.
I'm talking about social distance. Well, I need a volunteer to draw a door prize ticket. That was quick.
Have your raffle tickets ready, please? Yeah.
Okay, this number,
It ends with 384, I think. Is that look right?
384, yeah.
384, 384. 384. A set of very nice tickets to the next symphony concert in September 14th.
Wow. Great, congratulations, Nalika, that's really great. I think everybody envies you right now. So with this, I'm going to invite Nikki to the stage to share a few updates about our social responsibility campaign. I can give you if you need.
I got it.
Oh, perfect. And then close the meeting for us.
Okay. Okay. I am stepping into the toes of Sarah.
Sarah,
Joy, who,
Hello, I'm Nikki. And I am stepping into the toes of Sarah Joy, who is the person responsible for social responsibility. She is our past president and is our current vice president. So she would like for me to talk about our current social responsibility group that we donate money to in terms of support. And the Rehab Foundation is the one that we do, and this foundation assists people that have been trafficked sexually. So it helps them develop a new way of having life, actually, with housing, food, and not only women, I'm sure there are men involved as well. Yeah, but with children, so they take in the whole family and support them in a new way of life. So our current social responsibility campaign in support of the Rehab Foundation is well underway. An anonymous donor generously kicked off things with $100 pledge, saying that if there was an additional $200 donated, then they would meet that. So a total of $300, and they did. At our June meeting, members raised $372, an amount we were able to donate immediately to the foundation. At our July meeting, the cost of materials for painting, this was Anna Metamorphosis, that's what I always call you, but I know it's not true, but it's Anna, did a wonderful presentation on art. And that was wonderful, but the cost of materials for painting was less than anticipated. And our teacher, Anna Maria, generously contributed this to Rahab, a total of 58,000 colones, about $116. With the donor match, our current total stands at $788. We want to meet $1,000 this year, and it certainly is achievable if we can all gather in our 5s and 10s.
Okay.
This is a powerful start for a cause that truly matters. Let's keep the momentum going and aim to surpass that $1,000 this year.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for the support today. Yes, please, Phyllis.
if anybody wants to leave a donation, I'll leave this box on the table here.
Yeah, so we keep accepting donations. Thank you so much. And we would love to have people that will continue to contribute to this very noble cause. With this, we are actually approaching the end. It's 11:15. We still have a little bit of time. I don't know when the lunch will be served.
Leadership team.
Yes, but I mean, when the lunch will be served. So do we go directly there downstairs? Do they have open already?
Yeah, we go there.
Okay, fantastic. With this, I want to say a big thank you. First of all, once again to Maria Elena, our speaker for today. But also I would like to thank our previous speakers who are also present today, Anna and Gloriana Matamoros. And know that being part of this organization also gives you very good opportunities, not just to showcase your business, but also be a presenter, be a speaker, deliver a session. That's how actually I joined PWSCR 2 years ago. I became an LT member 1 year ago. And I have to say, it's been a very, very rewarding journey. Yes, Phyllis.
What does LT stand for?
Sorry, leadership team. Thank you. Anything else that I missed before we close? I have to check my notes. Thank everybody for coming. And stand attendees off to lunch. But before that, once again, heartfelt thank you for coming today. We hope to see you again in September in 8th session, which I'm really looking forward to.
Yes.
And with this, I wish you all a great day on behalf of the leadership team and hope to meet you again soon. Thank you. Where is the college? No, I think it should be a problem, yeah, because most of the slots. Right. And thank you, Gary, for joining. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Nice to see you.
Bye.